Welcome to the kitchen, Thasman.
Yes, sir.
Brother. Thank you for coming through, man. It's an honor to have you here. I mean, you're one of the people that I looked up to, when I started the whole, in the game, Libo Pro, and, you're one of the guys who were like, okay. And you're right, man. It's like there was the Motswako guys, and then there's the guys from, so there's that rivalry,
Yeah.
But it was just always a pleasure to see what you guys were doing with WHP, what I was doing with Pro, you know what I'm saying? So, I wanted to just have you on the channel to just talk to you, man, as somebody that I also kind of speak to and get advice from, It's somebody that just has done it all, man. I think from my point of view is that, I was a creative, but you kind of wore two hats. You were a creative and you became, a businessman at that, and you were a good businessman at that,
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, man, how did you do it, man? How did Motswako, how did you create this monster called Motswako, this thing, because you created a genre, man,
Yeah, man.
and that was fascinating for me, and I wanted to hear it from the man himself. So how did that come about?
Unity, if I may put it that way. Rokopane as guys with one dream, to make it in the industry. We had one passion, which was music, and predominantly hip hop. And the way I looked at it, it was a matter of for us to succeed, for us to grow, and for us to move forward, it's better if we focus on each individual at a go. So I started off with Jabba on some. Actually, before I started off with Jabba, I was working with Morafi from way back. I got to meet Jabba the second time. I met him the first time through a friend of mine at school. I met him the second time through Mo Mulimi. Mo at the time was a member of Morafi. It was four of them. It was Cooley, Mo,
I didn't
KG.
know that. Wow.
Yeah, so it was the four of them, So Mojo brought Jabba through, met up with Jabba. Jabba loved my stuff. And then we started working. This is back in Mafike, So I went to Cape Town. I went to wherever. When I got to Joburg, Jabba is already signed. And it was a matter of, okay, cool. You're already here. You're already signed. CCP EMI was kicking him out at the time, Yeah, they were thinking.
So they dropped him from the label.
Yes,
Okay.
they were dropping him from the label,
Okay.
actually, And that's when Jabba introduced me to Vusi Leo, So Pravosi was like, hey, let me hear some of your stuff. Actually, I've heard some of your stuff. I love what you guys are doing. Then he gave Jabba the idea of, start your own label and then do your recordings and all of that, and then license your stuff to CCP instead of you crying for being signed. That's why the first track in the was Hebanna. What does it say? You check.
Now it makes sense.
So that was CCP at the time, you know what I mean? So from there onwards, it was a matter of, okay, cool. We did something that works with Jabba. So since this thing is working with Jabba, what then do we do next? The next thing was, Jabba, as soon as you reach a certain level, then we can pull in other guys. And then the next people that we thought of was Morafi, And then through Jabba, Morafi, there comes Morafi, and then we started pushing. But before we dropped Morafi, unfortunately, Mojo's grandfather passed away. They left him with a farm, and he had to take care of the farm.
Man up.
Yeah. So he came to the team and he said, gents, look, I would have loved to be a part of Morafi. I would have loved to be a part of this album, but I have to step back. I have to take care of things back home, So that's how he stepped out of Morafi. And then Morafi's album came up, and then so on and so on and so forth.
It's 2020, man.
Yeah, man.
What does that mean for Thasman?
Well,
in fact, what are you most excited about? It's 2020. What is Thasman most excited about?
That's a tricky question, because I'm excited by a whole lot of different things, So the only other thing that I would say I'm excited about, predominantly within the music space, is the fire that was relit in me. The fire that was burning musically had died. I'm not gonna lie. It was like,
yeah, man.
You know what? Flip.
I remember from our
conversations.
Yes,
you know, so the fire was dead. I thought to myself, you know what, I will keep on doing music, plugging it where I'm plugging it, but mainstream, fuck it. Not going back there, you know. But being inducted into the Hip Hop Museum,
Hall of Fame,
flip, man.
Wall of Fame, yeah.
That shit changed everything. The Wall of Fame changed everything. It reignited the fire in me. And at this point in time, that's what I'm actually looking forward to in 2020. Like, to relive the old school Thasman.
That is music to my ears, man. I'm actually genuinely happy that you're saying that, you know, because I mean, I was also involved in that project, and having seen people like you kind of being put in that pedestal, that, you know, and that leads me to the next question is, do you think you've received enough recognition though as Thasman? Like,
the induction is something else. I think.
No, outside of the induction.
No, outside of the induction, no. Outside of the induction, I think the industry showed me love by stating something. But really, for me to feel that I'm appreciated within the game, I'm loved within the game, I'm even welcomed within the game, I felt like I'm an outsider constantly. And to me is, a couple of people have actually mentioned it, that Tsele Tsakara. So
you're not in a fraternity,
you're not
Joburg,
you know what I mean? So that automatically said, oh, okay, so I'm an outsider. Let me accept it. Let me deal with it my own way, and let me continue doing what I do.
Outside. But have you realized though, like Joburg, who's running Joburg? Let's be honest.
Outsiders, to be honest with you.
My point.
To be honest with you, it's outsiders. Look, it's evident that Joburg is run by outsiders, but then the minute you are made to feel like you are irrelevant here, then automatically it sinks in that, oh, actually, I'm not from here.
This is not my town.
This is not my town. This is not my space. So I'm not welcomed here. And the worst part of it all is that we call our genre of hip hop Motswako. So automatically, it's more like we are being sidelined out of hip hop. Oh, you guys do Motswako. So within the hip hop fraternity, we don't exist.
We don't exist. Hey, all the labels.
You know what I mean? So
all the labels.
So it was very challenging. Still is, to a certain extent. I think I've accepted the fact that there will be those that will accept us. There will be those that won't.
Motswako has birthed predominantly one of the biggest. And that is, you know, Cassper Nyovest. And that's what Motswako gave us.
Yes.
Over and above the legendary WHP and Kulichana, Morafe.
To be honest
Todi,
with you, I would easily say to you, Motswako was the birth of all new inventions within the hip-hop space. All milestones that were reached within the hip-hop space was through Motswako. Yes, the first hip-hop act to charge that kind of price, Motswako. The first hip-hop act to ever perform with a 2,500 choir and a 72-piece band orchestra was Dukes, Motswako. You know what I mean? So when you look at the first person to fill up a place of 20,000 plus within that space, Motswako. You know, the first person to host on TV, on radio, and still be a rapper, Motswako, Jabba. Look, Cassper came to me when 97, 98. You know, I was still building my house. My house was still dusty and stuff. You know what I mean? So he came through, and I was like, hey, my man, I don't have space. You know, when you look at all of the cats, Motswako, excluding WHP, all of them stayed with me. So I had to have them closest to where I am so that I can mentor and see where we're growing and where we're lacking. And it's easy to be in charge or to guide all of those things when you are all within the same space. Just like I get an idea and I'm thinking, okay, cool, I want us to do whatever, but somebody's in Mafike and then it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? So by the time they get there, that idea is past. I no longer remember what was. So with Cassper as well, I was like, man, for me to be able to guide you the best way ever, you have to come and stay with me. You have to be within my space, or you have to be living closest to where I am. He's like, nah, I'll stay here. And I'm like, no, man, I don't have space. You can see my places is like the same space. As long as you living here, I will live right under your
same space.
Yeah. You know, so we took it from there. We were in studio through and through. We tried a whole lot of different things, and boy listened, to be honest with you, because most of what kills a lot of artists is that you would feed them something and they wouldn't take off of that. I think what Cassper did was that I fed him almost everything. Out of all of the Motswako cats, Cassper is the one who stayed with me the longest. You know, so time and again.
So Zulu bathi uncelile like
uncele kakhulu yena hayi wakhuluphala wabona. Yeah, so he stayed with me the longest, and I went with him to a whole lot of different events. He saw how I conduct business. I tried to teach him money, because I remember the first gig that Cassper got, it was a 10,000 Rand gig. I said to him, hey, it was a 10,000 Rand gig. There's your 10,000. He stayed in Mafikeng for that weekend. Monday when he came back, he didn't have a cent in his pocket. I was furious, man. I was furious. I was angry at this point. And I'm thinking, my man, I'm spending money here buying groceries and stuff. You don't think groceries? He's looking all fresh, my man. All geared up. Like I'm thinking, oh, Cassper, come on, you know? So we fought about a whole lot of things, but he took a whole lot of things that could build him. You know, it's funny how I had him recently on radio on an interview saying at Tasso's house, I used to bang doors and Tasso would be angry at me and shout and whatever. Now he's experiencing it with people banging doors at his home. Now he understands what I was talking about, you know? So it's like some of the things are only now coming to play on his side, but then most of the things he's implementing, and look at the success.